So from Warren Buffett's important message for investors and the latest inflation data to a huge rise in institutional crypto investment, I'm going to talk about some very important things. So let's talk about it. So first of all, we are now seeing that the bearish sentiment is prevailing in the crypto market and things are not looking too good right now. From Bitcoin and Ethereum to Doge and Shiba Inu, almost all cryptos have been trading in the red with no signs of significant momentum. The current macroeconomic environment is not letting cryptos find any relief, and this is why it is expected that the market is going to remain in the downtrend in the short term. And now, as we know that crypto and traditional markets have remained on the downside, let's see billionaire investor Warren Buffett's important message to investors. So in an interview in 2014, Warren Buffett stated that the one thing you can be quite sure of is if we went into some very major war, the value of money would go down. He said that has happened in virtually every war that he is aware of, and the last thing you would want to do is hold money during a war. So he is basically advising investors not to put their money in fiat currencies during wartime, just like what is happening today due to this Russia-Ukraine issue. Meanwhile, Buffett has acted upon this thing himself. He bought his first stock in 1942 when macro factors were not looking good, but he insisted that investors would frankly be a lot better off owning productive assets over the next 50 years than pieces of paper. So what we are seeing is that Warren Buffett has ditched investing in paper currencies and he has preferred investing in stocks. So the point is that Buffett's advice to investors amid this ongoing war not only applies to stock, but it can be related to cryptos as well. This is because we know that Warren Buffett has been showing great interest in crypto investments in recent years. In fact, last month his firm, Berkshire Hathaway, increased exposure in Nubank, the largest fintech bank in Brazil that's also popular among the country's Bitcoin investors. And the interesting thing is that it sold about $1.8 billion and $1.3 billion worth of Visa and MasterCard stock, respectively. So means that Berkshire Hathaway has been shifting away from credit companies to gain exposure in cryptos. On the other hand, we also know that Warren Buffett is popular for his cautious approach to investing, particularly in the market's hottest sectors such as cryptos. The veteran investor had also downplayed Bitcoin and cryptos, ridiculing them as assets that do not create anything. However, the thing to note here is that Berkshire's latest stake in Nubank shows that Warren Buffett has been softening up to cryptos lately. His firm had invested about $500 million in Nubank in July 2021. So this clearly means that he is now preferring crypto investments. Moreover, his additional investment into Nubank shows his acknowledgement of the crypto sector's underlying theme about the digitization of financial services. It also shows his willingness to associate with companies that are involved in the crypto sector. Moreover, we also know that EaseInvest, a trading platform that Nubank acquired in 2020, has been actively offering a Bitcoin ETFs since June 2021. So it makes it clear that Nubank has been exposed to the emerging crypto sector, and since Warren Buffett is investing in it, he is making additional revenue opportunities from it. And that is primarily because of the growth of crypto-related investment products in 2021. And this is exactly why Buffett is now increasing his exposure to crypto investments. So the point is that while Buffett might not invest in Bitcoin directly, he is already gaining indirect exposure as companies in his portfolio foray into the crypto sector. And the Nubank investment can be tagged as Buffett's way of supporting the crypto world without taking back his criticisms of the past. All in all, I think that the Berkshire boss is now backing the crypto ecosystem indirectly, and this is a huge thing for the entire crypto market. And the most important thing is that his advice for investors to ditch fiat currency amid war and consider stocks also applies to cryptos. This is what he has been doing himself by investing in crypto-related firms like Nubank. So this is indeed a massive update for Dogecoin, Bitcoin, and other cryptos. And I think that we may see more people starting to invest in cryptos. This is because Warren Buffett's increasing participation in cryptos is likely to attract a large number of investors who closely follow his advice and had previously been skeptical of crypto. Now, there is another important piece of news for cryptos. So billionaire investor Jim Rogers believes that the U.S. dollar is losing its respect as a safe haven, primarily because of the sanctions that the U.S. government levies against those it doesn't like. He feels that some countries are searching for an alternative to the dollar, given the perceived unfair nature of Washington policy. Meanwhile, he also expressed his views on cryptos and said that although he is still worried that governments might ban cryptos, he regrets not having bought Bitcoin last year. So what we are seeing is that another experienced investor is seeing a bleak future of fiat currencies, and he is claiming that cryptos are turning out to be better investment opportunities. Now, another important thing is that the current market environment is pointing towards rising inflation. It has been expected that the Russia-Ukraine war is causing the bleak outlook, and reports show strained financial conditions worldwide are currently the tightest since 2020. Meanwhile, bond markets during Monday's trading sessions indicate increased inflationary pressures may be on the horizon. Similarly, the IMF has recently warned that an ongoing war in Europe and associated sanctions will have a severe impact on the global economy. IMF has stated that the current situation could cause inflationary pressures, supply chain disruptions, and price shocks. So the point is that it is expected that inflation is going to break previous records in the coming days. And this is going to be a good thing for both stocks and cryptos, as those investors who are currently sitting on the sidelines will start coming to these markets. And with that being said, let's come to Dogecoin's current price movements. So things are currently looking bad for Dogecoin, as it has been slipping below during the last few days. We can see here that it is not only moving below its crucial moving averages, but its RSI level is also falling towards the negative zone. And this is indicating a sell-off pressure on Dogecoin. However, the thing is that this war situation is affecting Doge and other cryptos, and it doesn't mean that Doge is dead. It will be back on track in the future, but we have to exercise some patience here. So Bitcoin is currently showing bearish signs, as it has been continuing its sideways movement. From its MACD level to its daily RSI value, the overall scenario is turning out to be really negative for Bitcoin. Meanwhile, a popular crypto analyst, Cathie, is warning that Bitcoin is poised to move lower. According to Cathie, Bitcoin is following its market structure in June 2021, when it crashed from 41K all the way down to 28K. So he believes that the next leg is more likely than not going lower. Now we are seeing that there is a lot of pressure on Bitcoin due to mounting regulatory concerns, and this is one of the reasons why it is moving sideways. However, some analysts are still looking positive on it. For example, Michael Van de Poppe is saying that Bitcoin is correcting still after a rejection at 39K, so he is assuming that we are going to take the low for some liquidity before we have a chance of some upwards momentum. On the other hand, Anthony Scaramucci, founder of Skybridge Capital, is also looking very bullish on Bitcoin. He is expecting the price of Bitcoin to reach 100K by the end of this year. Scaramucci also commented on how high the price of Bitcoin could be in the long run, and he has predicted that Bitcoin could reach 500K per coin. And now, let's come to Ethereum for a minute. So we are now seeing that Ethereum is making lower lows, as its price is finding no pace at the moment. It has been consistently rejected from the resistance around 2.7K, and it appears that we may see some more downtrend from it. Meanwhile, crypto analyst Nicholas Merton is warning of potential danger for the Ethereum and altcoin markets. He is saying that we are having another drawdown in ETH's price, and he is saying that we have had a pretty solid correction since September 2021. And it is coming to a very fragile point where, if we break below the current range, this could be a telltale sign that the market is ready for a longer drawdown. And now, while the overall crypto market is struggling to find any pace, the good thing is that institutional investors are continuing to invest in crypto funds. Inflows into crypto investment funds rose sharply last week, offering cautious optimism that investors are broadening their exposure to cryptos. We can see here that digital asset investment products registered $127 million worth of cumulative inflows during last week, and this was the highest weekly inflow since December 12, 2021. Moreover, the increase was also significantly higher than the $36 million of inflows registered the previous week. So this is really good news for cryptos, since this huge accumulation by institutional investors can turn out to be really bullish, especially over the long term. And now, coming back to Dogecoin, we have just seen the advice on Warren Buffett to investors, and I think it is really positive for Doge and other cryptos. Besides, we have also seen rising cryptos adoption among institutional investors and some other updates. So all I'm saying is that despite the current sluggish movement, Doge can still manage to show some positive momentum from here, especially in the long term. In any case, what are your thoughts on this?